Hey guys, welcome back. Adam Flowers here. It's Mob Vlog, December 21st, 2022. We are almost at the end of the year, and big news is coming out here. The government's released documents that pertain to JFK's assassination, and was supposed to release all of them, but they didn't. They only released a certain amount. And of those that were released, well, we're going to talk about it. Welcome back. It's Mob Vlog. Red Wemette, how are you doing today?
I'm warmer.
You're warmer. Yeah, you guys are going through some kind of like hell's freezing over in Florida right now, huh?
Very.
Never saw anything like this. It's supposed to be super cold down there right now.
It is. It's outrageously cold. As a matter of fact, I'm drinking hot tea.
No kidding. Wow. Well, you never know. It's that global warming.
If it's warming, how come we're not getting warm?
I'm just saying. So, how's everybody doing today? It's almost Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's good to see you all here. Don Ciccio, Frank Ferraro, Sonny Zaro. We got to go get a beef sandwich. Mike Alexander, John Apollo, all the way from Greece. William Kirchmayer, Tommy Bridges. Everybody's here today. Michael Graham, Cicero, Paul Swilly, Jim Magnifici, Slapsy Maxi, Tom Coase, Anthony DiMartini. Street Stories is in the house. 67, Vlad Steele. Guys, Keith Hilton, it's good to see everybody. Merry Christmas, everyone. So you guys have been watching the news. Everybody's been watching the news. You guys had to have saw in the news that the FBI or the government released all these documents about JFK's assassination. But there's some questions about this, Red. I have some questions for Red.
There's been a few questions about it. It's been going on for years and years and years. They said after 50 years, they were going to release everything. Well, now it's 60 years.
Yeah. Now,
they still haven't released it all.
And it's like every president's blocked this, but this goes deep. You know, they say, 60 years since the JFK assassination. Everybody that's involved or knows something's going to be dead by then. It's been 60 years. I mean,
They said 50. They said 50 years.
Well, at 50, everybody who's going to be, have something
and then
to
they
do.
released a little bit at 50 years, but not all of it. They did the same thing after 60 years.
Yeah. So they released some of it. I mean, a big portion of it. And there's new information in the documents that they released, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's stuff about this about Oswald making phone calls to Russia when he's down in Mexico.
And they actually proved he wasn't a patsy, or he is a patsy. He wasn't the shooter. They've actually come out and said he wasn't the shooter.
They did in those documents. They did.
Yes.
But they didn't say who is.
No.
Okay. So Trump took the missing documents with him to Mar-a-Lago. What do you think about that?
I believe he did.
You think so?
I believe he did.
You think so, huh?
I do.
Why wouldn't
he never returned the documents that they can't get back now, even though they raided the place? They're missing some documents and they don't know what they are. And he's not going to be sworn.
Interesting. Bob Custer, the mob did not murder JFK. I trust famed prosecutor Vince
Lugosi.
No. Buglosi? Vince Buglosi. And physical evidence more than speculation. Tom Coase, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate you, buddy. No comment for me to read, but thanks, Tom. Appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Tom.
Never ever know the truth, in my opinion, Frank Ferraro. Well, you know, there's been a lot that's floated around there. You know, in the 90s, they came out with that movie. Did you see that? The JFK movie? That
Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone did the JFK movie.
Yeah, Oliver Stone did the JFK, right. And they say in that movie, I was watching some clips from that, they said, well, look here, and frame this, such and such, the first bullet hits his throat as he's reaching up like this. And then the next bullet comes from behind, and then the next bullet comes from ahead. And then now his brain's missing, you know that. The brain.
Oh, it had to be a shot that went in and came out the back. It had to be on an angle.
The brain, though, is missing. Because the brain would prove how many shots happened to that head. Wouldn't it?
Well, not only that, they didn't even have the clothing, so they couldn't tell where the shot. Actually, the shot, I was looking at the photos, and the shot actually hit him in the back. I mean, lower, not in the neck. It actually hit him 2 shots in the back, in his back. So that's 2 shots. The one in the throat was not a front shot. That was a tracheotomy.
Bugliosi. Sorry, Bugliosi. He was the prosecutor. Vince Bugliosi. Sorry, guys. What can I say?
I agree with you, crowd.
Sorry, I had to take a smackdown for that one. Stone was closer to truth than the pukes in power could be comfortable with. Think so?
I agree.
Yeah?
I agree.
He's a glory hound.
Even in that case, in the movie and in real life, in that trial, they took things in camera. They didn't allow it to be presented to the jury. So the judge took it in camera and says, I don't think we're going to allow that in the courtroom.
Really? Now, some of these documents that they did release, I saw somebody who wasn't Oliver Stone. It was the guy who wrote the movie, the JFK. And he's sitting there on the news saying, look, these documents, you can't even read some of them. You know, here's one document, and on page 2, there's only one sentence. The rest of it's all redacted. I mean, what? Seriously? So, you know, the front passenger got hit too. See, RJ 420. That's another thing. That was another one of the shots. They missed JFK and hit the guy in the front seat.
Governor Connolly.
Nobody ever taught. How come I'm just now learning about that? I've never heard that before. Was that known back then?
Yeah, it was.
Had to be.
That was the magic bullet. The magic bullet that allegedly went through his shoulder, came out his wrist, broke several bones, broke his ribs, and then went into his thigh and broke his spine and came out crystal. No dents on that bullet, no fragments. And when they x-rayed his body, when they x-rayed Governor Connolly's body, they found fragments in the body. But that's supposed to be the magic bullet that did it.
Really?
And they found it where? Where'd they find the bullet afterwards?
Where?
They found it on Kennedy's stretcher, not Connolly's.
Huh.
So does it stink? It stinks.
The whole thing stinks.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that would mean, let's just say that the CIA is in on it. If they were in it, which they would have to be, correct?
Well, I think they coordinated with Edgar Hoover. I that's my own personal opinion. I think everybody coordinated together. They all knew what to do. You didn't have to give them orders to tell them what they do. They knew what to do.
Benedict Mastriani, thank you.
Thank you, Benedict.
Actual tests confirm the magic bullet is accurate, Bob Custer said, according to Bob.
Well, that's what they're telling you.
He said, get up to speed. This is all documented. Go. So what about this? What about this connection with Oswald and Russia? And was Oswald a CIA operative?
Yes, he was.
I think he was.
Yes, he was. He was an asset, what they call an asset. He was an asset.
Okay, so here's one that I heard, and we'll see if we get Jack on the phone today or not. Jack's 87 years old. He was best friends with Peter Lawford. Peter Lawford was the brother-in-law to Jack Kennedy. He was married to JFK's sister, so he had a direct connection to the White House. And according to Jack, Peter told him when he talked about it to him, and he didn't say much about it, he said that conspiracy, he called it a conspiracy, runs deeper than you could ever know. And he said everything he knew were on cassette tapes. Now, what happened to those? Did his wife get them? Are they still floating around? Who knows? But we may try and get Jack on in a little bit and see. I just got him a new phone, and he's still figuring it out. Anyway, they had boomerang bullets. One bullet hit 3 people, like in a Steven Seagal movie. Anthony. Yeah. No,
when you look at that, it just doesn't make sense. And then to come out pristine.
And to come out, yeah.
I mean,
pristine.
Is the vet distorted or anything? Pardon?
He tried to drain the swamp, and the swamp killed him.
I agree.
You think that's what it was about with Kennedy?
Yeah, kind of, because he was reversing all the decisions. He already announced he was going to dismantle the CIA because of the Bay of Pigs operation. It failed. And then he also turned around and said, we're pulling out of Vietnam, period. And the military industrial didn't like that at all. I mean,
and he said he was going to organized crime too, correct?
That too. Well, they turned around. My opinion is the government agencies turned around and said, hey, we'll give it to the organized crime. Let them do it. If they get caught, that's okay.
Okay.
It got all goofed up.
Bob Custer says you're speculating. Lycos. The CIA shot JFK last. Oswald hit him first, and as he was going down, you can clearly see JFK gets hit a second time.
He wasn't even in the building when it happened.
You don't think so?
They've proven that.
Okay.
The new documents prove that. The new documents prove that he wasn't even in the building when the shots were fired.
Nicoletti in the drain sewer? You think that was the shot?
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
That missed him and went down all the way down to the viaduct and ricocheted and hit some innocent bystander who yelped during this whole thing.
Ruby was sent to Dallas to get the strip clubs in line and to befriend law enforcement. That's why Ruby was there. That's another thing.
That was back in the 40s. All right.
So why? He
was a close friend of Irv Weiner's.
What do you think?
He was a close friend of Irv Weiner's.
All right. Why do you think that Ruby shot Oswald? Was it because Oswald was going to spill the beans? And that would have created a big upset.
I think he was just told to. Like anybody else, he was told to. You do it, or you're going to be done too.
I'm just a patsy. Lee Harvey. One in the back of the head and one to the side. One in the side of the head. One in the back and one to the side of the head, right. Randy Rhodes.
Right-hand side. That would have been the left-hand side of the head and out the back of the right.
What's a paraffin test?
On an angle.
What's a
paraffin test? Is it's like, well, paraffin is actually wax, but it's from a paraffin test. Yeah.
The test for gunpowder. See if you've been firing a gun.
and there was no paraffin on Lee Harvey Oswald's face. You'd have to hold the rifle up like this. And a new document came out. Something in a document came out that was real interesting. That rifle was a carbine. It was not a long distance rifle. It wasn't very accurate.
In other words, you don't think that he could have made the shot with the gun that was up there?
To this day, they have not gotten anybody to fire that exact weapon and fire 3 shots off. And there's 4.
Okay. So the car is moving at 11.4 miles an hour, I believe, according to the Warren report. So the car's moving 11 miles an hour, and you think with that weapon probably be impossible.
Well, they had FBI agents and sharpshooters come up from all over the world to try and do it, and they couldn't get 3 rounds off. It's a bolt action.
Okay. Oswald wasn't that great of a shot, barely qualifying in the Corps, Tony Johnson said.
That's a fact. He didn't qualify. He got Maggie's drawers, what they call Maggie's drawers. He missed. He non-qualified.
What's it called? Maggie's drawers?
Yeah, that's when they send a red flag over. That means you missed. You missed every shot.
Oh, Christ. That's not good. Whoa.
Any other Marine would know what that means.
They found a Mauser, not the Carcano, on the 6th floor.
That's correct.
Tony, what's that? What do you mean? They found a Mauser, not the Carcano?
It's a Gargano, is what he's talking about. A Gargano, and the Gargano. It's just a. And then the only prints that were found on that weapon were on the stock. And the Undertaker, now they have the papers that came out. The Undertaker made statements that agents came in and fingerprinted him and put this prints on the stock. And he said, I remember distinctly because I had to get all the ink off his fingerprints before I could actually put him out for viewing.
All right. If Oswald didn't
There's more taste to it.
Then why did he kill Officer Tippit at Dallas PD?
He didn't. That's also been released. That was released. Officer Tippit was a CIA operative, and Officer Tippit was killed by a CIA operative.
Okay. The cops found 2 rifles, a Mauser on the roof, and
the Gargano.
The Carcano on the 6th floor. Khazarian Mafia. What does that mean? I have no idea.
I don't know nothing about that.
Trace, what's the real truth? I don't think we're ever going to know.
Trace.
I don't know,
Trace.
Right?
We may. Let's see what happens after this election.
Oh man, with everything that I've been reading about, watching about, I just Deborah Day, The Men Who Killed Kennedy, is the best documentary I have ever found on YouTube. The Men Who Killed Kennedy. I have to look that up.
I like the grassy knoll. I think I like the grassy knoll because one of the agents and one of the FBI agents that's been trying to disprove that it was a conspiracy, Zach Shelton, has been saying this for years. And Zach contacted me back in 1998. He was working on it. And Zach contacted me and said, what do you think about this guy's files? Did you ever meet him? And I didn't know
James
Zach.
Files.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
And I just recently found out he got immunity. No wonder he's talking. He got immunity.
Okay.
The state of Texas gave him immunity, and it was a state crime committed in that state.
I guess it wouldn't be a federal crime, would it? It'd be a state crime. Even though you killed the president, doesn't that make it federal, though? Because you're killing a federal...
Not at that time. They did not have those laws at that time. It was
Really?
a state crime. Anybody that's going to be tried for it, they would have to be tried in the state of Texas. Where are you going to try him at the Capitol?
So before we get to James Files, Don Ciccio, a Mauser is an accurate weapon. The Carcano is not. So the Mauser wasn't on the 6th floor. The Carcano was.
Hold on for a second, Adam.
Yeah.
How do we?
Red just left the stream. So he's got to take a break. He maybe has to use the restroom or something. He'll be back in a moment. So Tony Bug, Khazarian Mafia refers to Sam Bloom and the Israel nuclear program. I know it's something to talk about, guys, but careful with what they're releasing. The government is so bad, they'll release nothing but lies 100% of the time. That's true. I mean, I heard this little rumor about the FBI paying Twitter $3.5 million. So just saying, to put things up, shadow ban, delete things, whatnot.
This is our Gargano.
Okay. That's Carcano.
Yes.
All right. And accurate?
No.
No.
Not at all. I can't hit a barn with it.
No kidding.
Yeah. Very rough action.
Yeah.
And I'm very familiar with firearms.
Okay. So
very, 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 very rough action.
Does that take a magazine or you have to individually load those?
It's got a little clip in the bottom where you put up to 5 and 6 in it.
Push down? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Goes down through here.
You push them down in and then gotcha. Yep. So, but still to Corey C. Why is John Tucker on the thumbnail? LOL. John Tucker isn't on the thumbnail. Tucker Carlson's on the thumbnail, Corey C. Jason Kean, I was locked up with James Files. He was Chicago outfit / CIA. According to...
And
I like
Jack Shelton was the guy that arrested him and tried to kill him.
All right, Deborah Day. Oswald had a double. Oswald, have you heard that?
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. He had a body double.
Seriously?
Yes. That's in release documents.
C.O. Siri. Murray Humphreys.
Also in release documents, you know what they had that was very interesting? Tony Accardo gave $100,000 the week before this happened to Mexico. He gave it to somebody in Mexico.
Yeah, I heard that the
place. Why would Tony Accardo give up $100,000?
Yeah, and that's a lot of money back then. That'd be the equivalent of a couple million today,
at least.
So, Murray Humphreys damned the Italians for the JFK assassination after it happened, as he approached me with rolling tears down his cheeks. We are the Celtic ones. The Dagos just destroyed us both. That's according to C.O. Siri. That he heard him say that. Armalite came out in the 50s. Vlad, I have no idea. Carmine left. That's funny. Files would have only been 20 years old. He'd have been a kid if he was there.
He was actually 18 years old when he was over in Laos, and he was a sniper over in Laos and what's the other country next to it? Thailand. He was over there, and that was during the Vietnam conflict. Actually, Files was 18, 19, 20. He would have been 21 then. He would have been 21 on the assassination in 63. But then again, I'd rather have a 21-year-old that's very agile than somebody that's 40 years old who may not make the hit.
Sure. Ex-cop Files was serving time at Statesville. Do you know what for?
Yes. Hijacking trucks of different garments and bringing him back to Illinois. He was up in Wisconsin, and Zach Sheldon arrested him. And Zach Sheldon is the guy that's been working on trying to prove this thing over and over and over again. They have a movie. I watched it on Amazon Prime. It's called The Grassy Knoll, and I'll tell you what, it has everything in it. If you're not convinced, it'll convince. There's facts in there, and he even says all the agents that are in there, all the FBI agents that are working on this, retired FBI agents, they're all saying we only deal in facts. We don't deal in theories. We're dealing facts here. This fact does not add up with this fact.
Jim Mars confirmed under contract that info about Files. He was contracted to do a documentary on Jim Files. James Files, bona fide, had been confirmed for both the CIA and Chicago outfit, according to Jason.
That's correct.
Michael Graham, thank you, Red. Red knows that with the bolt action rifles, you aim, then shoot, reload the bolt, and have to aim again to get another shot off.
Takes about 3 seconds.
Sure. It's not like you could just aim, pop, and then keep following, pop, another one. You have to take your aim off to re-bolt to get back onto the. Gotcha.
If I'm gonna load, I'd be loading like this. Now, if I fire, I'm gonna have a little bit of kick. I'm gonna reload. I have to aim again.
Okay.
And hope I didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah. Right. Woody Harrelson's father was one of the hitmen.
No.
I know Woody Harrelson's father was involved in something though.
Yeah,
Some
he was
thing, right?
He killed a judge. Killed a judge.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Lewis Cole and Cambodia. I was going to correct you on that. Next to Laos, it's not Thailand, it's Cambodia, isn't it?
Cambodia. He was a sniper there.
Yes.
He was a sniper. Thank you very much for correcting me.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. I was bouncing around. I was going to say something because I knew you were.
I get those countries mixed up over there all the time.
Yeah, you mixed that up once before. It's no big deal.
It all used to be Siam. It all used to be the country of Siam or the country of Siam. And then during World War II, it got broke up.
Oswald was having an affair while he was married. He was going with a scientist inventing a poison for the Cuban president. Have you heard about this?
That is correct. It was on the documentary that I just talked about, The Grassy Knoll. She talks about the whole thing. She's alive, or they got her on videotape. She's alive. She tells about the whole thing.
It's happened. What year exactly was it? 62 or 63?
She was having the affair in 62.
When was the shooting?
November 22nd, 1963.
63. So he was born in 42, poised for duty, said the Files born in 42, which would make him 21.
That's what I said.
Yeah, good age. Yeah, so it's a good age of take somebody with it. Why wouldn't you want somebody that's
at 21 years old, I could do just about anything.
Laos was under William Colby of CIA, started running H in 62.
Yes, that's correct. Actually, he was there before that with Eisenhower.
Now, that's another thing. The presidents that never let any of this out. J. Edgar Hoover. We haven't even brought up his name yet.
His name is in the files, in the release files, things he didn't release.
So Hoover, Ryan Brown, hold on. He's got to chime in. Hello, Red Nat. I'm sorry I'm late. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Charles Harrelson, Woody Harrelson's father, one of the hobos who they thought was involved in the murder? Charles Nicoletti also. No, not at all.
No.
Okay.
And Chuck Nicoletti made a full escape. He got out of there, made a full escape. But yet he was murdered later, right after Sam Giancana, like 3 months, because they were both called for the second time before the McClellan Commission.
So, guys, hit the like button. Hit the like button. If you guys are just coming in here, be sure to hit the like button. We're talking about JFK, the Grassy Knoll, James Files, J. Edgar Hoover, Charles Nicoletti. There's we could probably sit here for a week going over this. Everybody has something to say about it, it seems. So, but in case you didn't know, the Vegas Mob Tour is open. It's rolling right now in Vegas. And day after Christmas, December 26th, we open the all brand new, completely brand new Vegas Crime Tour. That's going to be opening the day after Christmas. So go to Vegas Specialty Tours, use Mob Vlog promo code, get the 20% off discount, and take the tour, just like Scott here did. Hey everybody, we just got done with another Vegas Mob Tour, and I got Scott with me. Scott's from Chicago.
What Actually, part? From Grand and Western.
Grand and Western. You see that? Made it all the way from Grand and Western.
It's a great show. You guys should come out and see it. I enjoyed it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you very much.
Don't forget to pick up your shirt.
You got a shirt, too. It's awesome, dude. Thank you. You got the shirt?
It looks like he had a good time.
Oh, no, totally. He was a hoot, man. He was a hoot.
Frank Ferraro made a comment here.
I'm sorry, who did? Frank Ferraro. Frank Ferraro.
Dave Ferry also worked with cancer development. Yes, he had a lab in his home, and he was working with the gal and Harvey Oswald. They both were working on a cure for cancer. And the reason they were working on a cure for pardon?
No, a cure for cancer? Or was it a way to inject
the reason
cancer?
They were working, they were injecting cancer into animals and seeing if they could cure it. They wanted a cancer for Castro that couldn't be cured.
I thought that cancer isn't curable.
Some cancers are. Like right now, leukemia can be cured.
Tommy Bridges, the most gained from killing JFK were Lyndon Johnson and Hoover. Lyndon wasn't going to be on the ticket, and Hoover was going to be forced to retire.
Yes, 65, he was going to retire. And
Johnson.
Talk
about J. Edgar Hoover?
Yes. And Johnson already did a memo to keep him before Kennedy was shot. He sent him a memo. A lifetime appointment.
All right. Homan Sanders, trained professionals, unlike these youngsters out here.
Got that right.
Yeah, lots of nonsense from conspiracy fans. Bob Custer, lots of nonsense from conspiracy fans. You know, 3 years ago, we were sitting around saying, I think people are getting shadow banned on, Twitter. And people go, whoa, there's no such thing as shadow banned. You're a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy. I told you so. All right. That's what I am.
What about a mask that you could wear that would stop any virus?
A mask?
Yeah.
A filtering system?
Didn't work, did it?
No.
They proved the virus can go right through it.
Yeah. All right. What was the point of the Warren
Commission way back then? If you were talking about, you're a conspiratist.
Sure. You can. Well, conspiracy theorist was born out of the JFK assassination. They didn't even have that term until JFK was killed. And they went, a lone gunman in a book depository fired shots and killed the president. And then a day later, another lone gunman went and shot that guy and killed him before they could question him. And
I hate to differ with you, Adam. I hate to differ with you on this one because they had conspiracy theories going on way before that. Now the news coined it conspiracy theorists, the news media.
Sure.
But they did have conspiracy theories going way back.
Sure.
Centuries back. It was a conspiracy about Julius Caesar, you too, Brutus, when they all stabbed a knife in Caesar. That was a conspiracy.
Yes. Lewis Cole, Adam, ask Red, does he have any knowledge? But Files did an interview in the late 80s stating he traveled to Dallas the day of the assassination with Charles Nicoletti and David Ferry, I think in the same car. Did you see that interview,
No.
Red?
No. He's right about Chucky Nicoletti went in a separate vehicle, and David Ferry met him there. I don't know who he actually drove with but he was driving up. He was in New Orleans, and he drove up from New Orleans, and he was a day late. And he called into his control handler at the CIA. That document was released. He called into his control handler from the CIA when he arrived, which was Phillips, I believe. Atlee Phillips.
Right. Vins, glad to have you here. No questions there being foul play with JFK. Yeah, there's no questions about it.
We just don't have all the answers.
Yeah. So the same people who think Marilyn Monroe was murdered and we never landed on the moon, like baseless random conspiracies. Bob Custer.
Correct.
Bob believes everything the government tells him. Don't you, Bob?
Bob is younger.
You know, maybe. Let me ask you something. Do you think we landed on the moon, Red?
Yes.
You do. You believe 100% that we went to the moon?
1,000%.
There's not a question.
I personally talked to Neil Armstrong.
Okay. You've talked to him and you've asked him, hey, what is it like on the moon?
No, I didn't ask him any questions about that. We were just talking about his flight. So okay. I didn't ask him, did you really land on the moon? No. He told me a lot of things. He told me about, I believe I talked to you about it. He told me about the dimes. You never knew about the dimes.
All right. So Bob Custer, like lots of flat earthers, I'll go with you on that one. Okay. I mean, the world's round. Okay. If it wasn't round, the cats on this world would have knocked everything off the edge by now.
I agree. And, getting everybody to agree on this is going to be like getting all of one political party to agree with all the other political parties.
Oh,
it's never going to happen.
Van Pastor, man, you think that the professional wrestling isn't real?
No, I know it's not.
No, it's real, Red.
The MMA may be real right now.
But it's not real. Get out of here.
Watching somebody go in there, pick somebody up, do an airplane spin, throw him down on the ground, grab a chair over in the corner, miss him. He hit the foam or whatever, the flooring, and he like he's hit,
Yeah. Van Braun didn't build that Saturn V for nothing. That's Von Braun did the Saturn V. Bob probably believes that the magic bullet theory, that the bullet went through and in and out, and up and down, and
Well, Bob, the only question I have for you is that particular bullet that was recovered. How come it was pristine? There were no nicks on it. There were no anything on it.
Right? Nothing. Gentlemen, we have to look at the evidence. I know speculation is very interesting. Nah, Bob, it is interesting. That's why there's 160 people hanging out in here right now listening to Red and I talk about this crap. Because I know there's something interesting to it. Because this shouldn't be this big of a broadcast right before Christmas. Honest to God. So
I want to wish every one of you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. And girls. Oswald was supposed to be killed by a Chicago hitman, but ended up killing that cop, Tippett, poised for duty.
No, he did not.
He didn't
it's
kill
proven. The man that killed him, it's already proven. It came out in the papers. It came out in the papers that were just released, the new documents.
Okay.
They didn't give them all. But they give enough.
Who killed him?
It was another CIA operative.
Okay. RV Doc, some of these people need a bit of Red's Rush. Luminous grin. Merry Christmas, Jagoffs. Merry Christmas to you, Jagoff. Love you, Luminous grin. Oh, finally. What all of the talk that we've had today, and Rick hasn't chimed in. Listen, the CIA was in charge along with Bush. Kennedy was standing in the way of the NWO 7 Points of Light.
There were a lot of things that he was standing in the way of. There's more motives than you can shake a stick at.
What's the NWO 7 Points of Light? This is something that I've never heard.
Come on, Rick, tell him.
While I'm Googling it. Points of Light. The New World Order. No, 1,000 Points of Light. The 1,000 Points of Light was popularized by President Bush. And later formed as a
George Herbert.
Is that what it is? Really?
George Herbert Bush.
New World Order. No, it's NW, New World Order. Yeah. So there was a lot going on. You got Herbert, or you got J. Edgar Hoover, not Herbert Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover, started compiling file upon file upon file about presidents, about senators, governors.
He blackmailed every president, every congressman. He blackmailed everybody.
Every one of them. That's why the guy died as director of the FBI, because nobody fired him. Nobody could. They had dirt on everybody. See, that was one we didn't bring up. All right, Jim Magnifici. Two different types of 38 rounds killed Tippit. Automatic and a revolver. Weapon Oswald had was a revolver when arrested.
It was a 38 shrouded snub nose.
Tippit was killed by a Chicago hitman.
He was a CIA operative.
Tom Coase, I break the CIA into 1,000 pieces, quote JFK.
That's correct. He said he was going to.
He was going to break it apart because it was too powerful of an organization.
He also, because they went up against him with the Bay of Pigs, he did not provide flight cover for that whole operation. They were supposed to go in and do it the way they did it, no extra help. And at the last minute, they called for it, and he had to go for the blockade and everything else. No way. He said, these people must have supped so bad that we're going to break them up. That's it. It's over.
Lewis Cole, he wanted to smash the FBI as well. And he wanted to end the Vietnam War early. And all cancel the Korean tensions. So he had to
That's
go.
correct.
Shit. Now, if they were in on it, the CIA was in on it, that would mean that George Bush Sr.
They planned it. Who could plan such a... Do you think the Chicago mob planned this?
Well, I'm sure they were.
Nobody can plan it and bring J. Edgar Hoover in and bring all these other people in and plan it. It had to be somebody way up there. Higher than politicians. They use those politicians like puppets.
Pete Byron, the irony. Back in the day, this talk would have had J. Edgar Hoover knocking down your door.
That's what true. I was telling you.
If we were sitting here doing this that long ago, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad. The government, FBI especially, today is a joke, Trace. Yeah. Files was a CIA operative as well. Correct. That's what we're all saying. I think that the smoking man from the X-Files killed Kennedy. Really? The smoking man from the X-Files. Who's the guy with the umbrella? What's the deal with the umbrella guy? And why Sonny, good question. Why was Gianni Russo never investigated for the assassination?
He said he was deeply involved in it, so I don't know.
Joe Collada, it's good to see you. Merry Christmas, Joe, to you and your family.
God bless you and your family.
Bon Natali. What does that mean?
It's Italian.
Nonsense about what, Bob Custer. Nonsense about what killed Officer Tippett. There were eyewitnesses.
Got their names, Bob?
What is Red smoking? Bob wants to know. What are you smoking, Red?
A cigarette.
There you go. So, oh gosh. William Kirchmayer, the OSS was the parent of the CIA, and the OSS was complacent in General Patton's assassination.
That's correct. Wow. I believe it.
I believe it. Hey, you were walking up to see one of the agents one day, and he said to you, the next thing you're going to tell me is who killed JFK. Who was
That's a fact. I wrote about it in my book.
Yeah, I know. You wrote about everything in your book.
He was, we were reviewing tapes that Frank Schweihs did about different homicides. And he was at the back steps, and he said to me, I was handing, he was leaving. He had the tape, and he said, the next thing you know, you're going to be telling me who killed Kennedy. And I stopped. I was laid back by that. Later on in years, I would find out that his boss told him to make that statement to me.
Really? To see what your reaction was?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
To see what your reaction was, huh?
That's a fact.
Wow.
And there were many people standing there. I'm not alone. There are people, witnesses that are alive that were standing there. They heard it.
To Bobby Bag of Donuts. Remember, Bobby, you don't cut the tail off of a mad dog off. He'll turn around and bite you. But if you cut the head off, the tail dies too. Yeah. I guess that's what they did. They cut the head off.
Some people made foolish comments like they should have gone after Bobby. But that wouldn't have done it.
Joe Collada, we're never going to know the truth. The government only lets us know what they want us to know. Exactly. We aren't going to. They're never going to tell. They're never going to. All this stuff that's coming out.
The agencies themselves are going to have to release these documents sooner or later. We may not be around to see them. And maybe none of our children, grandchildren, or anybody else is going to be interested. That's possible.
Richard Faverty. He runs Beckett Studios here in town. He's a fantastic photographer. Later, you should look at Earl Morris, a video about the Umbrella Man. A video about the Umbrella Man. Somebody else said earlier that the Umbrella Man was probably a signal. The guy with the umbrella poised for duty was probably a signal as to when to shoot. Could be.
I think that's just misinformation that was thrown out there for another conspiracy. That's my opinion.
Adam, the 1,000 Points of Light and New World Order is part of the church I showed you on the tour. Yes, so on the Vegas Mob Tour, we go past the Guardian Angel Cathedral, and on the front of it is the all-seeing eye at the very top, and then there's an angel who's being worshipped by other angels, and which means he's a fallen angel, and the other angels have these dark wings on them. So they're also fallen angels, and there's Gnostic triptych architecture on the front of it because there's 3 entryways which represent portals and secret societies. How am I doing,
Rick? The triangle with the ever-seeing eye is the Masonic symbol.
It is a Masonic symbol. Some would say the all-seeing eye of Satan. But what's it doing on the front of a Catholic church? And why does the church architecture look more like a Masonic lodge than a church? It doesn't even have a cross on
the only one I know of. That's the only one I know of.
Uh-huh.
Now, there may be others out there. I don't know.
Just like Roswell. Yeah, we're never going to know the truth about any of it. I'd love for them to release the documents about that. Sit there. They'll never do that either. It's just, it was a crash saucer, and the next day it's a weather balloon. Get out of here. Come on.
I still think that that's a matter of national security.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
You think people would go nuts if they found out that we had aliens flying around here?
Yeah, that would bother them, but also technology from another civilization might bother them a lot.
Right after the crash in Roswell, all of a sudden, we got LEDs, microwaves, all this technology started popping up right after that, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
All right. See, so that's reverse engineering all of that stuff, maybe, or or maybe the aliens didn't die, and maybe they taught, well, we can't get off the planet now. We'll stay here, and we'll show you guys some cool shit you can do.
Those are real theories. Are
they serious? Wow. Well, maybe. Adam, have you been near Area 51? I have, Homer. I went up there with my wife and just to just go check it out. There's nothing to see. So this was one of the best podcasts, and that's not a conspiracy. Thanks, X-Cop. Glad that you're enjoying the content. We really thought that if we stayed current with something going on, that's you guys would enjoy it. Jack Ruby went crazy after Jolly West went to see him. He was giving people LSD. Look it up. Yeah, who was the CIA agent who said that
he was part of the mind control project?
Yes, who was that? The CIA agent who, when I saw that on the news too, we didn't even bring that up today. Till now, that was
on the release papers. It's on the release file.
After he interviewed Jack Ruby, he said Jack Ruby was insane. Called him insane. How come nobody else spotted that he was insane?
And he was a CIA operative that was the psychiatrist that interviewed him.
Uh-huh.
He was involved in all these LSD projects and everything else.
Right.
Jack Ruby made a statement that I saw. It's on film, from years ago. And he said, unless you take me out of Texas to Washington, you people will never know what really happened.
Really?
They made him look like a nut.
Jesse Araby, glad that you made it live. It's good to have you with us.
Welcome.
Slapsy Maxi. No, it isn't. It represents the Archangel Michael. It's just the work of an artist. You can read a bunch of conspiracies into Michelangelo's work as well. Slapsy Maxi, thanks for chiming in on that.
I agree 1,000%.
The front of the church, that's supposed to be the Archangel Michael. Why is he being worshipped by
It's
other
open
angels?
to interpretation. It's open to interpretation.
It's art, in other words, is what you're saying. It's art. Well, let's leave it at that for right now. Leave it at that. So, Orson, this is Mork calling Orson, not Wells. Thanks, Mr. Don. Keith Helton, I think he's quoting Mork and Mindy. Jack Ruby excuse about killing Oswald was ridiculous. Oh, I did it for Jackie. That was his reason for killing.
That's what the press released. He didn't say that. The press released that.
Okay. And we can't believe them. We can't believe them. Unbelievable. They have something called Spaces on Twitter now, where you can have real-time conversations like a podcast, but with, listeners, and everybody raises their hand. You can have different people talk. It's kind of interesting, Red.
They can control your information.
Adam even said my name right. Ha ha ha. Jesse Araby. That's funny. I was just pulling that out. I was like, maybe that's how you say it. Maybe it isn't. Nano. Nanu. Nanu. Luminous grin. Joe Clark. Merry Christmas. Guys, we're going to be reading a little bit of Red's book. Nobody cares and what I did about it. And hey, maybe we'll talk about this some more, because this
that's up to you.
Hold on. Archangels don't have wings and should never be worshipped. Aha. So that's not the archangel, because they don't have wings, archangels. See? There you go.
But it's still art. I've never seen one like that.
I love where we go on this channel. I really do. You just don't know. Trace, we Americans have been so brainwashed over the decades. With these last few administrations, they have made it so obvious what their agenda is, erasing history and lying to us. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's true. Sure.
I love things up on Google that I know happened because I was alive then, and they're not there anymore. They changed the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah. When Duels was in private practice, He had the comments are coming up too fast. He had the G orchestrate a coup in Panama on behalf of his client, United Fruit Company.
Yes, that's a fact too.
That
was a CIA op.
CO Siri. Read The Fairy Faith in Celtic Country by W.Y. Evans Wentz. Doctor Thesis, Oxford, 1911.
Yes,
see 1981 reprint. See page 380 and 381 and page 504 to 506. Number 1, that's Superhuman Life on 506 in the O series. I have to look this up. Greg Polly, will Crazy Horse 2 be on your new tour? Yes, Crazy Horse 2 and the Buffalo Jim Derrier is on the tour with Rick Rizzolo stories. The whole thing. Yes, Greg, it is on the tour, on the new crime
You're going to
tour.
love it, folks. I listened to it.
How could we do a crime tour without the Crazy Horse 2? You know, that place had a 3-alarm fire not too long ago. And that Joe Blasco, who was part of the Hole in the Wall gang, worked there as a daytime bartender. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be on the tour. Wow. Luminous Grin. I'll be enjoying a nice whiskey and listening to Red's book on a frigid, snowy evening. Excellent. Slapsy, there's only one archangel. It's written in the old Bible, and no angels were attributed to having wings.
No, there were 3 archangels. Miguel, Raphael, and I forgot the third one now. Michael.
Yeah.
No, archangels.
Oh, yeah.
Michael, Raphael, and I forgot the third one, but there were 3 archangels.
Well, wasn't Lucifer one of them? It got thrown out?
No, he was the fallen angel.
Okay. Hey, guys, it's been fun. It's been a blast. We may have to pick this up next week and continue on because there's still more to talk about. Mr. Fugazi, Ruby was sent to silence Oswald, even though I don't think Oswald knew anything about the Kennedy assassination, but Ruby was sent by the...
I agree. Now we can close the facts because he did it, because the news said he did it, the officials said he did it. Now we can close the case. It's over.
It's over. It's over. Yeah, it's over.
We can take a body. We can take a body that a crime was committed in the state of Texas, and we can just take it out of Texas and move it to Washington. Where we can do whatever. The autopsy is going to be different. Everything's going to be different.
Hey, Red, do you know what else is over?
What?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Merry Christmas to everyone.
All of you.